Today, we're going to demystify something that powers, well, pretty much our entire digital world, data collection systems. Now, I know, that sounds super technical, right? But stick with me, because we're going to break it all down with a really simple and, honestly, pretty fun analogy.
I mean, you've totally done this a million times, right? You're filling out a form online, your name, your address, whatever, and then you hit Submit. But have you ever stopped to think about what actually happens next? Where does all that info go? How does it get organized? Well, that's exactly what we're about to unpack.
So at its heart, a data collection system, or DCS for short, is just the computer program that grabs what you typed into that form and puts it somewhere sensible. And this is key. It's not just some random digital shoebox where everything gets tossed in. No way. It's a super organized, highly structured system. It's designed to gather very specific information in a really consistent way, so that, and this is the whole point, it can actually be used for something useful later on, like analysis.
And look, this isn't just for ordering a pizza online. This stuff is critical. I mean, businesses absolutely depend on it for their day-to-day operations. Governments use these systems to enforce regulations. And for scientific research, it's the literal backbone. So getting this right is a huge deal. It's how we make sure we can trust the data that's shaping, everything around us.
All right, so how do we wrap our heads around how these systems are actually built? Let's use an analogy. Let's think about something we all get, something with a bunch of different parts, a clear set of instructions, and a cool finished product at the end. Yep, you guessed it, we're talking about Legos.
So think of this as our digital Lego blueprint. We're going to build a data system, piece by piece, starting with the whole project box and going all the way down to a single tiny brick. Understanding this hierarchy, that's the key to unlocking this whole thing. Okay, first things first, we have to crack the code. You see, different fields, whether it's tech, science, or government, they all have their own jargon. But here's the secret. A lot of the time, they're using a ton of different words to describe the exact same thing. So just think of all that confusing terminology as different names for the same Lego pieces.
Let's start at the highest level, the big picture. Imagine you've got a brand new Lego set, say the Millennium Falcon. The entire box with all the bags and the instructions inside. That's our starting point. In the data world, we call this a collection. It's the big container that holds absolutely everything for one specific project.
But here's where the jargon comes in. You might hear this called a project, or a registry, or a system, or even a study. Don't let it throw you. It all means the same thing. The whole shebang, the entire box.
Okay, so what's inside the box? What's the most important part? Of course, it's the instruction booklet. That's your blueprint, right? It tells you exactly which pieces you need and precisely how they're all supposed to fit together. Well, the technical term for that blueprint is the data model.
And yep, you guessed it, people have a bunch of different names for this too. You'll hear it: data dictionary, schema, form, survey, questionnaire. It sounds complicated, but it's not. All of those words just mean the plan. It's the set of instructions that lays out what you're trying to build with your data.
Think about any Lego instructions you've ever used. They're not just one giant chaotic page, are they? No, they're broken down into easy steps. Step 1, build the cockpit. Step 2, assemble the wings. Data models work the exact same way. And these logical sections, we call them sub-collections. It's all about creating a clear, step-by-step structure.
So next time you're in a meeting and you hear someone mention a module, a block, or a parent-child relationship, just picture that Lego booklet. They're just talking about those organized building sections inside the main instructions. Simple as that.
All right, let's get even more granular. Let's talk about the bricks. In the instruction manual, you'll see a picture that says you need a 2x4 red brick. Notice it's not pointing to a specific brick in the pile. It's defining the type of piece you need. In the data world, that's called a data element. It's the abstract concept of a piece of info you need to collect. It's like the empty box on a form labeled first name.
And oh boy, this one has a lot of synonyms. Field, attribute, column, variable, question. Seriously, they all just mean that one single, specific blank space on the form. It's the question that needs an answer.
Okay, now this is a really important distinction, so lean in for this one. The data element was the idea of a 2x4 red brick, right? Well, a data point is the actual physical red brick that you dig out of the pile and click into place. It's the real deal. It's not the empty box labeled first name, it's the actual name Alice that you type in.
So when you give an answer, or type in a value, or submit a response, what you're providing is a data point. That's the actual concrete piece of information that snaps perfectly into the spot defined by the data element. Okay, so you've followed a whole section of the instructions. You found all the right bricks, you clicked them all together, and now you have a finished piece, like the whole wing for your spaceship. In Dataland, that complete set of answers, that finished component, is called a dataset. Think of it as one complete submission, one finished record.
And of course, there are a million names for this too. You might hear it called a row in a spreadsheet, a record in a database, a submission from a form, or maybe a case in a research study. At the end of the day, it's all the same thing. One single, complete, finished entry that followed the blueprint.
So, let's pull it all together. What's the big takeaway here? It's that this simple Lego analogy really shows how all these scary-sounding technical terms are just parts of one logical structure. It all flows perfectly from the entire box right down to one single brick.
I mean, look at how it all lines up. The whole Lego box, that's your collection. The instruction booklet, that's the data model. The different building sections are the sub-collections. The type of brick you need is the data element. The actual brick you use is the data point. And that finished wing you built, that's your data set. See? It all clicks together.
And the source for this really nails it when it says that all this crazy vocabulary just comes from trying to describe these really common sense structures in software. The idea itself isn't complex at all. The only complexity comes from all the different names we've invented for the same simple parts.
And that, right there, is the thing to remember. The next time you're faced with some super long, complex-looking form, just think about Legos. It's not a random mess of questions. It's a carefully designed blueprint built from really simple logical pieces. And all those confusing words, they're just noise. You can ignore them.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this new blueprint in your head, what digital Legos are you going to start seeing everywhere? When you sign up for a new app or fill out a form at the doctor's office, are you going to be able to see the structure behind it? You know, the collection, the data model, the little data points you're clicking into place? Keep an eye out. They're everywhere.